All right, I want to welcome you guys to my monthly Q&A webinar. This is Brannon Beliso presented by Rainmaker. Simple, powerful, and easy to use martial arts software. My platform is something that's very, very unique. I'm part of those people that are innovators. I find out what's going on in any type of industry, and then I try to do it differently and do it better. So you know us, we don't do contracts, we don't do enrollment fees, we don't do bell testing fees, we don't do upgrades, black belt clubs, any of those different things do not exist in my businesses. We are not a retail store, so we don't focus on heavy retail sales either or built-in sales to generate revenue for our pro shop. So keep that in mind in everything that we talk about today, that this is where I'm coming from. It is innovative, and honestly, I'm going to be brutal about this. If that old thinking of contracts, upgrades, bell testing fees, all those things truly, truly work, then why is it that 85 to 90% of our industry is not making money? There are all the people that have been around forever with the 10, 15 schools, and even the guys who are running contracts and stuff in single locations. Their numbers are what? Maybe 200-300 students, the ones that are doing it supposedly well. So I'm going to challenge every one of you to rethink that. I think the reason our new school is doing so well is everybody around me has contracts. I'm sorry, I have a 6-year-old son. You are not going to lock my 6-year-old kid into a 1-year contract. Nor are you going to coerce me and make me feel guilty and say I'm not teaching my child commitment, if I don't lock him into a 1-year contract. That's just not going to happen. So I think that's one of the reasons our numbers are what they are, which I'm about to share with you. So with that said, take out a piece of paper, please, and I want you to write down three of your top values. I do this in every webinar, every time I speak and travel. I tell people, please write down your 3 top values. Okay, write them down and type them in. Be it integrity, be it family, be it any of those values, please write them down. And then type them into the box, in the question box. I want to see them. And then, I'm going to answer all your questions, so save those for the end, okay, folks? And I promise I'm going to help you with that and take care of those questions. Oh, Chris, all the way from Australia. I am so humbled. I'm so amazed. We're getting people from Germany, Australia. It's just super, super, super cool. I want to see them. Type them in, please. Type them in. That way I know you're with me. Type in some of those values. Anybody put them in? Clay, Chris, anybody type in something? Honesty, family, reliability. I like that, Chris. Absolutely. You want to be an honest, transparent business. You're a family-oriented business, and you're a reliable business. You will be there day in, day out, year after year. See those 3 values? Couldn't you take those 3 values, Chris, and formulate your own type of content to promote yourself at your website, in your marketing materials? Hey, that's cool. How many martial arts schools are going to say we're honest? We're honest. Yeah? Paul says myself. That's a value. Family, integrity, honesty, integrity, imagination. That's cool. Relationship. Now, with all that said, please keep that next to you through this whole webinar I'm about to do. And if anything I say does not resonate with you, throw it out. This is your space, this is your race, this is your journey. But it should be based upon your value system. It should be based upon your vision and purpose. So I'm mindful, anything I read, I'm always bouncing off that, because one size does not fit all. What might work for me will not work for you. So be ever mindful of that. And that's why I'm very challenged with some of the consulting out there. How can you sit on the East Coast and tell me how to run my business in San Francisco unless you're in my school, you smell my toilet, you talk to my parents, you sit there and watch classes? How can you give me an honest, valued assessment? No, everything you're giving me is blanket information that works across the board. But just be mindful, one size does not fit all. And I'm very passionate in sharing that with people. Cool? Okay, I start off everything with stats. I'm a big stat guy. Stats are what drive our business. And check out these numbers. Millbrae, our new location, we've been open a little over 4 months. We actually opened February 9th. So, 4 months and a week. we've grossed the new location just in the month of June. We've grossed $17,291. It's 128 active members. 31 are still on trial. We have 12 new members already signed up for the month of June, and we're only halfway into it, really. And our retention rate there is 97.1%. You want to keep your retention, they say 1 to 2%, but honestly, I mean, we work hard on those months to keep it there. Reasonably, and it is summertime, 97.1 is phenomenal. San Francisco, which has been open, we've had that for about 15 years. We're at 41,232 so far into the month. It's 602 active students. Trials are at 41. New members are at 10. Retention is at 95.8%. We're much lower in San Francisco because it's bigger numbers, right? 602 students. That's a lot. That's a lot to put in 3,700 square feet. So our retention, we're always working to improve that because our retention lets us know the quality of our curriculum, the quality of our customer service, the quality of the way we're delivering that instruction. All those are reflective upon those numbers when you look at retention. So retention is not just a blanket number. Retention says a lot more about the different elements of your business. So be mindful of that, okay? All right. So with that said, let's get into it. Questions, and I've got a lot of them, so I'm going to share these with you. How long should it take to have an instructor trained before he or she should be able to handle the floor by themselves? 1 year. 1 year. I have a killer instructors and training program that gets them from, taking attendance and holding a pad and tying a belt all the way to running a full class by themselves. 1 year, 1 year. But you have to train actively. You have to be running these facilitating these instructors and training, with a clear set of a system to get them from A to B. And I have a system. What is a systematic method of training the instructors? Email me at professor@onemartialarts.com and I will send you ours. You'll be able to look at that, formulate your own. It's from my 48 years of martial arts training, running my dad's school, failing in my first school when I was 18 down in LA. It was open for 6 months. Every night was sparring night. I was out 9 months. Give myself a little credit. That was 9 months. So I've learned. Trust me, I've learned a lot. And the systematic method of training instructors is what you need. Because what I do recognize, I do not do this alone. I cannot do this alone. I cannot have a sustainable and a growth-oriented business if it is based upon me. A personality-driven business is not sustainable. Think about it right now and be brutally honest and type it in there because ownership and seeing it on paper, and I'm the only one who sees these answers. So right now, if you got sick or hurt, how many months before your school is closed? I would say 6, some of you 3. Be brutally honest about that. If you got sick or hurt and you were down, really down, how long would it be before your business closes? I'm waiting. Give it to me. Come on, someone step up. Type it in that box. If you can see it on paper, that's where change begins. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And that's a scary reality, isn't it? Thank you. Look at that, gentlemen. Look at those numbers, ladies. Look at those numbers. That is scary. That is scary. And you're gonna, support your family and sustain your family on that, or a mortgage payment, or putting your kid through college. Be brutally honest about that. And I was. The 1 year was 2011. We did $1.1 million. But I had learned, that it was all centered around me and my personality. And if I got sick or hurt, 6 months, maybe 6 months, we're done. So I've changed that completely in my businesses. My first location, I'm there maybe a couple of hours. I take the whole summer off. So I won't step in that first location for maybe 3 months unless I want to go change a light bulb or just, do a spot check. The second location is like a baby to me, so I'm spending a lot of time there. But look at that. And I want you to write down what you just wrote me there. Write it down. Please write it down and plaster it on your bathroom mirror. So every day you wake up, one of the things you should be doing constantly is investing in your team, developing a team, growing a team, nurturing a team, recruiting a team. That to me is a full-time business, and we do it all the time. Inside, outside, homegrown, Craigslist, referrals, everywhere. We're always trying to grow our team because I recognize without that team, I will not have a business. Without that team, I cannot only sustain, I cannot grow my businesses. So take a look because that honesty is something that's really going to make a huge difference. So email me at professor@onemartialarts.com and I'll send you our instructors in training. Okay, people, how do you deal with a student that wants to stop training? I always feel a little saddened when a student stops training, but I understand not everyone will be a black belt. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. I get it. We love martial arts. We eat, drink. That's why we opened a school, right? We love it so much. It's all we want to do every day, all day, 24/7. I get that. I get that. But when you start getting personal about it and it saddens you and it hurts you, hey, that's ego. Because it crosses that line at some point where you go from, oh, I'm just bummed out and sad. It's your ego that's sad. It's rejection. You feel rejected. That's what it comes down to. And that's a human condition. It's a human need. I get it. I get it. I get it. Is it merited? Yeah, absolutely. But should you act upon it? Should you put these silly policies in place to go into guerrilla mode and sit there and lock them into your office and guilt them and saying you're a bad parent if you let your child quit because you're developing a quitter and that's not about commitment? That's all ego based. So I say this, make their exit just as memorable as their entrance. Think how much love you gave them. Think how little ego was involved when they first stepped foot in your door or called you on the phone or came up to a booth at a fair. Think how much love you gave them without ego. Continue to do that. So make that exit just as memorable as their entrance. Make it wonderful, beautiful, accept it, and move on. And I'm going to tell you why. I put my kids in swimming. When you quit, does anybody give you the ninth degree? Nope. How many of your kids are in gymnastics or soccer? When they quit, do they give you the ninth degree and try to guilt you into staying in soccer and gymnastics? No. So don't do that. I think it's poor business. I read this great article Randy Reed sent me yesterday about bad profit. Bad profit. I said, what do you mean? How can profit be bad? When you profit at the cost of the relationship, that's bad profit. You feel me on that? So if you're going to sit there and hold someone's feet under the irons and take them to collections and do all those things, that's a bad profit. You might profit some money out of it, but guess what? That relationship is shot. They will talk poorly about your business and you will never get their business back again. You feel me? So think about how you want that exit to be. Understanding, love, support. We are always here. So we do. We send an exit email and a letter filled with gratitude. Oh, thank you so much for allowing us to serve you. It's backed up by a survey. Please feel free to click on this link, fill out the survey because we're always trying to do and be better. So if you can honestly support us on that, then we know we can improve our service. Then put a reactivation offer where you can say, if you ever choose to return, there's a $50 gift coupon for you to reactivate your membership. And then after that, move them into some kind of former member or prospect email flow and send them relevant content every few months. Every few months. Now, please do not think an autoresponder is the end-all be-all. It's not. It's just another system you can put in place to stay in contact with former members, prospects, current members. So you put them in what's called a flow. I take their name, I make them a former member, and I put them into an email flow. Boom. 1 month later. We miss you at One Martial Arts. Hope you think about returning one day. Boom. Birthday email. Oh, wow. Hey, we still miss you at One Martial Arts. We want to wish you a happy birthday. Boom. Hey, it's summertime. I know you attended our camps before. We'd really love you back in a summer camp. You know what I mean? Relevant content, very soft sales, but focus on relevant content like maybe focus is one of the great things your child learned. Did you know that focus helps them get into a good college? Relevant content. Just don't bombard them. And make sure you really, really read your content. And that's where I'm not for using these prefab, pre-made content, driven things that are already written. Think about a relationship you have with a particular student. Okay? Think about it. Now, you're going to take some template from some third-party company that's going to talk to you about martial arts and the values, and you're going to send it to that person that was your student for 3 years. I'm waiting. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? So that's what I'm saying about that. I would rather say, hey, you know what? I know it's soccer season and Johnny played soccer every year when he was at One Martial Arts. I hope Johnny goes out there and does a great job playing soccer. Is that going to be more impactful than, did you know that 1 out of 10 kids who take martial arts, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my Lord. So please sit down, be creative, write a personal email, give it some love, give it some heart. All right? Chris, I'm able to see what others are typing. Good. Yeah, you shouldn't see what others are typing. That's only for me to see, Chris. Continuing that. Then after that, above all, be grateful. Be grateful you were allowed to serve them for the time you did. Cool? Be grateful for that time, man, because it's so magical. It's magical that anyone is with me for 1 day, 1 week, 2 years, 10 years. I'm grateful either way. Either way. And if you can treat it that way, I think less ego will be involved, less hurt will be involved, and you really will think what's best for the client. If they need to leave you, they need to leave you. The reason is irrelevant, isn't it? They're going to leave. So why not make that experience wonderful? Wonderful, wonderful. All right. What model microphone headset do you use? I know this is kind of just real simple stuff. I use a Samson Airline 77 headband vocal system. As you see right there, the transmitter is built into the headset. That way there's no cord, it doesn't go into a little transmitter pack, and it sits on your head. $299, plug it into a sound system. Great, we use it for birthday parties, seminars, workshops, really huge classes, parents' night out. You don't have to scream. It really helps you create an environment that says, hey, we're above the rest. Some guy sent me a video the other day. He's teaching a kickboxing class and he's screaming over the music. That's horrible. Go to any fitness club. There's not a single fitness instructor that doesn't work without a headset. Compete, with what's out there. So you need a quality headset. What do you use to clean your mats? I use a multi-wash 14-inch auto scrubber. It's $1,500 investment by the time tax and shipping. It's from Powerflight. It is the best thing out there. It'll do your puzzle mats. It'll do the tile in the bathroom. It'll do your tatami mats from Swain or Zebra, all of the rest. It covers everything. We use a couple of different brushes. This black brush that you see on it is a very soft bristle brush that's good for puzzle mats. You don't want to get a really heavy brush. We did that on the puzzle mats and it left all kinds of marks. So it comes with a soft brush, so you'll be fine. But if you want to upgrade and get a hard brush, we use the hard brush on our tatami mats just to get deep into those grooves that they have. You know what I'm talking about. And then what mats do you use in your school? I'm going to challenge you people. I think my floor, my dojo floor is my stage. That's where the magic happens, right? So I don't want to use puzzle mats. I don't like that stuff you put down and you pull over the tarp, and you pin it, because that tarp comes up after a while. It starts getting creases and little folds. It just doesn't look good. So we go with the Tommy mats. To me, it offers the old school Japanese Mr. Miyagi, just a real rich, it says martial arts. I even use the green ones versus the black or the red or the yellow ones, because again, I'm trying to say, hey, martial arts. You'd be amazed how many non-martial artists will not set foot on that green tatami mat because they watch Karate Kid. Okay, so I want to challenge you on that. Try to step up, get beyond the puzzle mats. Presentation is really important. The environment you offer is really important. And you've seen pictures of my new school, and my old one. We invest heavily into our school. Heavily. And the last question is, do your rates include everything? Yes. Everything. And I talked to a parent about that yesterday. It was so great because two parents were standing there. One was a parent who'd already signed up who needed a question answered. One was another parent. And I was sharing with this potential parent what's unique, because she said, wow, $189 a month for twice a week. That seems a little higher than everybody else. I said, it might seem so, ma'am. But one thing you can count on us, it says right there on the price sheet we hand out, no long-term contracts, no enrollment fees. It's month to month, simply a 30-day cancellation notice, no bell testing fees, no pressure sales, no upgrades. All that was pointed there. And this woman next to her said, yeah, I took my son to this other school for 6 months, and the first thing they wanted me to do was upgrade into this $4,000 black belt program. They made me buy these other weapons 2 months in, and she just went on and on about the contract and everything. So you feel me on that? Be the innovator. I believe that's one of the reasons we have 127 students at our new location, because what an easy entry point. What an easy way to get in. Oh, month to month? Easy. 30-day cancel? Easy. I can do all of that. You're going to sit there, and I have a 6-year-old son, and you're going to put a 1-year contract in front of me and then talk to me about commitment, and this is all you have to offer? Hey, that's like having a restaurant with one thing on the menu. You're in bad shape, folks. And that's why I think 85 to 90% of our industry is not making money. Think about some of you people that have schools in lower income environment. You're going to lock that parent into a 1-year contract? No way, right? All right? And with that said, I want to add to that, how many of you, no, I don't charge for weapons, Michael. We include the weapons. We keep them in-house. So let's say we're doing a weapon month with bow staff. We have a bunch of bow staffs in-house. But guess what? That motivates every kid in that room to want to go out and buy it. You know why? Because I'm not holding the parent prisoner. You must buy this weapon for weapon month. Oh, another thing to pay for. How come you didn't tell me that up front? Well, I kind of sort of did in the fine print on the bottom. We supply the weapon in class, and we tell the kids, please practice these, 3 chunked moves for next class. How can I practice it if I don't have a bow staff? Well, guess what? 90% will run out and buy a bow staff because they don't feel that pressure. They don't feel that pressure, Michael, and that's really important. Always think from the client's viewpoint. Think from the mom's viewpoint. Do I got any moms on the line? I got a couple moms in there. Okay, all you moms tell me, would you rather know being on set budgets and budgeting each month for your household. Would you rather the amount be exactly the same every month or varying by $100 to $50? I'm waiting. Which would you prefer? Moms, quickly, pipe in. One set amount each month, or would you rather have it, they throw in a $35 belt testing fee, then they throw in a $30, weapon fee, then they ask you to buy this and buy that. How do you feel about that? What's your perception? Set amount, boom. Always want to know, boom. See, I'd rather have it be the same. Boom. 3 moms. Who is your client? The moms pay the bill. The moms come check out the school. Listen to the moms. So I've proven that point right there. All right. Could you give me some tips to blast past 250 members? We seem to be stuck here, and I'm curious what you did to grow to 600 members. There is no magic bullet. There really, really isn't, people. And anybody out there that's going to sit there and say, I'll get you 90 students in 90 days. I'll increase your bottom line by 6 figures tomorrow. Run, 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 run. Because they're feeding into your fear. They understand that you might be struggling, that you're stuck at a point at 250, and they're going to hit you up because they're capitalizing on one of the number one forms of marketing, fear. Fear and sex are the 2 top ways to market. So if I can tap into your fear, if I can attack you at a fear level, whether it's subliminal or not, I'm going to get you to do that. So anybody that markets to you that way is not going to grow your school what I consider effectively. Not in the way I want it to grow. That's for darn sure. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? So, I want to be very, very mindful of that. So, number 1, an authentic and innovative curriculum. I like authentic because I think it teaches art. I like authentic because it's been proven century upon century. I like authentic because it has that richness. It has that je ne sais quoi. But innovation, I use hyper. When I was coming up, I used Little Ninjas, but developed my own program since then. I'm not hesitant. I used Bill Kipp's Easy Defense at one point. I'm not hesitant, but I make sure, because 75% of the revenue in my school is generated from traditional martial arts, and we teach a Kenpo system. So we're rich in tradition, but we're big on innovation too. And look at it this way. Your curriculum is like the food on your menu. If your food sucks, I don't care. People are not going to eat in your restaurant. And I don't mean that to be derogatory, because I have deep respect for everybody, but I'm going to call it out. So many instructors say to me, I'm a great instructor. I'm a great instructor. People say that all the time. Well, you have 100 students and you've been open 20 years. Are you great in your own mind, or are you truly great? Well, my curriculum's hard, so not a lot of people can do it. Okay, so now you're inaccessible. All right? You're narrow-minded and you're inaccessible. And the band played on. You feel where I'm going with that? Numbers are numbers. Well, then you're just a McDojo. You're just going for numbers, and you have all those students, and it's because, you don't care about the quality of your students, and da-da-da-da-da. That's the furthest thing from the truth. I've been doing martial arts forever, and the quality of my black belts is very high. Very high, very high. And so I'm passionate in saying that to people, all right? So next is a highly trained, high-performing team. If you don't have a killer staff, waiter, hostess, cook, busboy, bartender, bam, right? Look at it like a restaurant. My team is highly trained. They're high performing. And we train and we train and we train some more. We train monthly. We train weekly. They can't teach for me unless they're training, and the band played on. So we're very heavy in that. Next, a unique culture that puts relationships ahead of profits. Wow. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Hey, look at our numbers. You saw our numbers at the top of this webinar. Look at my numbers. They speak for themselves, right? Here's a great example of relationship ahead of profits. I've got a brand new school. Rent alone is $13K a month. $13K a month in this new location, folks. Dad comes to me, right? His 2 kids are training with me. I remember the school's only been open 4 months. Dad goes, well, I'm going to have to give you my 30-day notice. I said, well, why is that, sir? He goes, I just lost my job. I said, whoa, really? And his son, has some challenges, and martial arts has been really good for him. I looked at this dad and I said, there's no way I'm letting your kids stop. He goes, what do you mean? I will scholarship your kids, until you get back on your feet. He looked at me like, whoa. And then, he agreed upon it half-heartedly. He was a little, kind of sheepish about it, maybe even embarrassed. And then 2 months later, he comes back to me and says, I'm going to pay you back for those 2 months. I got a sweet severance package. I have a new job, and I want to pay you back. I said, you don't have to do that, sir. He says, no, no, you didn't have to do that. And I was just floored that, you barely know me. My kids have only been here for, a month and a half, and you have this brand new business, and I know your overhead's heavy, and you did that for me. You feel me? Boom. Relationships ahead of profits. Write that down. Put it somewhere you can read every day. Relationships ahead of profits. Relationships ahead of profits. Then, of course, amazing customer service. I don't care how good the food is in the restaurant. I don't care how good the restaurant looks. If your wait staff is rude, if they're not prompt, if they don't serve me at the highest level, I will not go back. And then a clean and well-kept environment. This is super, super important. If I walked in your bathroom right now, type it in, could you tell me that it's spotless? Mom standards. Mom standards. Mom standards. Come on. Mom standards. Come on. Spotless. Ooh, yes. Ooh, I hear that confidence. And that should be absolutely it. Okay, now, does it stay that way through the whole day with classes going on and everything? Prime hours, right? 3 to 8:30, 3 to 9. Is that bathroom always clean? Always clean. Disney, I love that. Yes, always checked. Good. I like that. It's always checked. Thank you, Linda. We're cleaning every 15 minutes. All the time. We're always cleaning. Constantly. And that's one of the theories with Toyota that they have. It's one of the 5 S's that you're constantly cleaning. We had this big discussion because payroll is jacking up in San Francisco to $15 an hour. So we're looking for ways to cut. And we see on a Saturday afternoon after like a buddy day that the team is there. The whole team is there for another 30, 35 minutes. And I said, whoa, that shouldn't be that way. If we're constantly cleaning as we go along, we should get that team out within 10 to 15 minutes. That alone will save us a lot of money on payroll. So we had a big discussion about that. Good? All right. Unfortunately, because I'm the only one, yeah, but that's got to change, right? You got to change that. If you're the only one, you'll ever be the only one. You got to instill a system to hire people, recruit people, build that team from day one. Day one, day one. Be ever mindful of that, okay? And I know that because I was at one person show. I'm cleaning my new school myself. I'm teaching a bunch of classes. I get it, but it's not sustainable, okay? And then marketing. I think this is a big one too. Marketing that is transparent and responsible. What does that mean? Honest. Be really, really honest. And honestly, nobody cares that I've been doing martial arts for 48 years. I'm an 8th-degree black belt. My dad's been around forever. Nobody cares. It's what have you done for me lately? That's what it's all about. So people want to know from other moms, from those reviews. Reviews are really big. Get those honest reviews, not some fake testimony you've bought from a third-party company. Don't do that. I'd rather have one honest testimony at my website than 20 of these ones from people that I've never met in my life. So you want to be honest. Be very honest with that. And then be responsible. Stay away from fear-based marketing. Stay away from sex-based marketing. Don't have some picture of some woman, that looks like she's ready to go to bed with you in your ads looking at the camera seductively. That's not responsible. What we're saying in our kickboxing program is we're going to manage your stress. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel great. That's what we're about here at One Martial Arts. And we're not about fear and selling sex. You feel me? So be mindful of that as well. People want that honest. Look at all the advertising out there nowadays. You see real people, not these models, right? It's real people. Real people sell. Be honest and be real. Cool? All right. It's hard to find good help. I get this one all the time and I got it again. You seem to have a great team. How do you find your staff? I'm going to stop you right there. Write this down. I don't believe it's hard to find good help. I believe it's hard to find good leaders. Write it down. Take a hard look in the mirror. Write it down. Okay? And I'm real serious about that. Every challenge in my business begins and ends with me. Become the type of leader you want to work with. Write it down. Disney. Be like Disney for a minute. Right? Pretend you're in Disneyland. What would be the best leader you would want to work with? One who listens? One who allows you to be creative? One who trusts you? I'll track the stats, but I will trust you. One who implements your ideas if they're good ideas and they fit our vision and purpose? What kind of leader? One who leads by example and lets others lead sometimes? Oh, I love it. I love it. On Thursday, when my guys are there, I put on a uniform and ask them, where do you want me to be? How am I going to grow my team? How am I going to show my team I respect and trust them if I'm micromanaging them constantly? Every time I'm there in the school, I'm in a uniform, jumping on the floor, stepping on their toes, taking over their classes. Can't do that. And this is a big one. Hire based upon cultural and values fit, not a perfect front kick. Just because they're a great martial artist doesn't mean they're going to be a great instructor. Ask yourself culturally, what is your culture about? Someone said family, integrity, right? Honesty, great. Is this person honest? Does this person have integrity? Are they big on the family values that you promote in your school? If they're not, then that's not a good fit. I don't care how perfect their front kick is. You feel me? And I do still believe this when the day's done. Like Dorothy said in The Wizard of Oz, you don't have to look any further than your own backyard. You probably got some great killer talent. It could be a yellow belt. It could even be a white belt that just signed up. Don't look at black belts only. Plant seeds early and often, right? Look at the potential of a student when they're just starting out. Think about your preschool program. Could you have some brand new student that loves kids, that works with kids in an after school program somewhere, come in and hold pads and be an assistant for you in class? Absolutely. We did that for a long time when we were coming up, and I used a red belt. If you were helping teach, you wore a red belt. That's why people then say, well, he's only a blue belt. He's this, that. They'll say, what's a red belt? It's a teaching belt. Especially in some of the preschool programs, like my Excellent Kids program. You don't have to be a black belt to teach it. It's just not necessary, right? So maybe come up with a teaching belt and be okay with that. Create a company that you want to work for. That's another big one. Create a company you want to work for. What would that have? Well, it should have vacation with pay. It should have a 401k. It should have medical. It should have all the different things that make people feel warm and fuzzy and protected, and taken care of. We don't have medical yet, but we pay into Healthy San Francisco, which is a very bad version of medical, and we're going to work to improve that with the revenue we generate from our second location. But we do have 401ks. We do have some vacation with pay, sick leave with pay. All those different things are there. And understand this, and I'll jump down to the bottom. Great talent is not attracted to low wages. Now, you don't want a paycheck player, right? You don't want a paycheck player. And that's the challenge with many leaders. Leaders are managers when what they need to be are leaders, leading by example, inspiring people, all right? Because managers have employees. And this is straight out of Tribes. Managers have employees. Leaders have followers. They'll follow you to the ends of the earth and back. You got any of those? That's the prototype. Because you're a leader, they're a follower. You manage people, you have employees. That's not empowering. That's not inspiring. That's not creative. So really learn the difference. And I know you're going, wow, how does this got to do with finding good staff? Everything. Create the culture, create the vision, create the environment, and guess what? It'll happen. Like in that movie Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. It wasn't about building a baseball field in the middle of nowhere, was it? It was about staying in touch with his roots and his dad and history and family and nostalgia. That's what it was all about, right? It's the same thing here. Create that killer environment from top to bottom, that culture, that vision, that purpose of a unique business, and your tribe will be built. And you will attract the people you need. But as long as all those things are unclear and they're not well defined, you'll continue to have talent that's going to come and go. Some guy just posted and he said to me, wow, I helped this guy and he opened up across the street and took half of my students. That's yucky. You hired wrong to begin with, sir. From the beginning, you hired wrong. And then out of good intentions, you help this person and then they leave you and take your students. It's a bad situation from the very beginning. But that's the least of your concerns. I would say culturally, you're not developed. I would say vision-wise, you're not developed. I would say systems-wise, you're not developed. All those things are not in place because if they were, you'd attract the right talent and they wouldn't be leaving you like that. Cool? All right, let's continue. Everybody still there? Take a deep breath. All right. Thank you. Let me know you're still there. Who's still there? Oh, we got lots of people. Man, Germany. I see Australia. Wow, I see the East Coast. Yay. Clay, everybody good. All right, so let's continue on. Excellent. Could you break down how you do your striping in your classes? What are the requirements needed to earn a stripe? And can you also explain the processes on how you use it in Rainmaker? Okay, we use a rotating curriculum. A lot of people do. It doesn't matter what requirements we're teaching, it's how we're presenting them, okay? So some of the things mentally I want you to take into consideration. Is your curriculum focused on memorization or is it focused on learning? We do a Kenpo system way kata heavy. And I love katas. Don't get me wrong. Katas teach form and technique. They teach focus, balance, discipline, a lot of things. You know, it's much easier to fight than it is to do kata. I can teach a kata man to fight. It's harder to teach a fighter to do katas, right? Right? You feel me? So katas have their value. We still do them, forms, katas, pinyans, whatever you want to call them. We do them. They're of value. So it's not so much what you're teaching, but how much you're teaching and how it's presented. Okay? It's kind of like that thing, the 7-45-48 rule. 7% is what you're saying. So I'm going to say 7%, and don't take this out of context. 7%, just for the sake of argument, is the curriculum you're teaching. 45 of it is how you're teaching it. And then I'm going to say the other 48% is why you are teaching it. I was talking to a guy, the shift's happening. More kids are coming into his school, but he calls it tactical self-defense or something. I told him change the name. He goes, well, that's the name we've always used. Yeah, but if you're starting to get this influx of kids and you're going to call it tactical self-defense, you're going to scare away a lot of potential moms because the name is scary. Tactical self-defense. You feel me? Okay, so moving on. How do we break down our striping? All right. Most schools will do one tip every 4 to 5 weeks. Type in the box if you do that currently. Type it in. Type it in. Do you do one tip every 4 to 5 weeks? Yes or no? Type it in. Okay, good. Good. Right? Good. Everybody? Most part, yeah. Some people saying no, the majority are saying yes. What we did is we looked at that, and every time I look at something in the martial arts industry or any other business, I try to look what's good about it, but what can we do better? Write that down. So when you're starting to review your curriculum after you get off this webinar, ask yourself, what is good about it, but what can we do better? We review our curriculum every year. We're constantly making changes all the time, but our core values stay the same. You feel me on that? So that's why I teach good traditional martial arts. I won't get rid of anything. I've shuffled it around, sliced and diced it differently, learned to teach it a little different, but my core values, I love Kenpo Karate, so we stick by it. Good? So then I said, okay, 4 to 5 weeks. I'm a beginner. Let's start with the beginner experience. Why doesn't that work well for me? Well, because after a 4-week trial, what do I have to show for it? Maybe one tip. From a parent's viewpoint, from a kid's viewpoint, does that feel like I've progressed? No. So in our school, after a 4-week trial, you've earned 2 stripes. Wow, pretty good. And 3 merit badges. That's a lot more, visually and mentally that I'm progressing in this school than maybe one tip after 4 to 5 weeks, and then you're going to sit me down and try to sell me a 1-year contract. It's not going to happen. Second thing I liked about that was we found with 600 students to facilitate the curriculum effectively and create the best experience for the students, 1 stripe every 2 weeks, so much better. But we also stripe test in class, practice classes, or we're stripe testing all the time. 15 minutes before class, we'll be stripe testing a kid, doing whatever it takes so nobody gets left behind. So we do 1 tip every 2 weeks. Okay, and this is a valuable doc, and ask me for these docs. Someone said, well, we're trying to, get another school to do this in another state, but they can't wrap their head around how to present this to a parent. Okay, so on the far right, let's look at that first. This would be a level. This is 1 year worth of curriculum. 1 year worth of curriculum, right? In that level are 3 belts. But what are they all? Level 1 students. So it doesn't matter if I'm a yellow belt, a yellow-orange belt, or an orange belt. In a 2-week period, everybody's working on the same thing. The challenge was for us, in the old days, what this orange belt was learning was way too advanced for this yellow belt. And what this yellow belt was learning was way too boring for this orange belt. So what we did was redesign the curriculum and move things around. So if we're working on, let's say, a requirement that an orange belt would do, it's still yellow belt can do it, a yellow-orange belt to do it. But if we're doing a yellow belt, hypothetically, something that's from a yellow belt curriculum, the yellow-orange belt and the orange belt won't be bored. So let's look down here. For example, let's say a student enters the level as a yellow belt. They enter. They may begin learning any given stripe on that wheel based upon when and where they enter the level. All 3 belt levels within level 1 will be learning the same thing at any given time. That's black and white. So let's say hypothetically, and then start to explain. I enter as a yellow belt, and we are on stripe number 6, the brown stripe. Okay, I'm on the brown stripe. We all learn that. So once this person has 6 different stripes, they'll learn 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. Okay, once they learn all 6 stripes, guess what? They bell test. 6 stripes is 3 months. Every 2 weeks, 3 months. So 6 stripes. You feel me? And then once they have earned 6 stripes, they test on everything they know from white belt through the 6 stripes they currently have earned and graduate to yellow orange belt. This goes on for another 6 stripes. Then they earn and graduate to orange belt. We've modified that a little bit, but I wanted to use this wheel because it's still pretty good. If you're in this level, you only test on 6 stripes. If you're leaving the level, you do all 18 plus what you learned in your lower curriculum. Because, again, my value system, I believe the martial arts should be teaching people to master things. So I'm not going to say, okay, you'll never see this requirement again until you test for black belt. Then I'm going to sell you a 6-month crash course, for $4,000 to get you ready for black belt. It defeats the purpose of mastering. So anytime you leave a level, every time 1 year is over and you're leaving that level, guess what? You do everything you learned in that whole year plus any lower curriculum. Okay? And so that's basically how we define rotating curriculum. This is a great doc. Parents get it. The problem is you present it in a linear fashion, they're never going to see this wheel. Okay? Then here, this is on one of the handouts we have. Learn and earned. And it's written in red, the most important. Attend classes regularly. Learn 1 new stripe every 2 weeks. Only practice the required stripe learned during the 2-week period. Earn 1 new stripe every 2 weeks. Schedule makeup classes as needed. And that's a brilliant thing that we offer. We have a makeup class policy. Again, added value. I take my kids to swimming. If they miss their 4 o'clock class on Monday, there is no makeup. So we offer a makeup class for our parents and our kids, which they love. Attend the weekly Saturday 8 a.m. practice class and stripe testing class. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 8:45, we have a practice class. Again, added value. I pay for twice a week, and I can come to that 3rd class. Wow, you guys are pretty cool. Once a month, at the end of the month, we do a stripe testing class. Whoever's falling behind, who's not earning their tips that month, right? We encourage them, come to the stripe practice class we have at the end of the month. Attend the monthly scheduled workshop, that workshop that I'm talking about. Purchase private lessons as needed. That's the only thing we do charge for, private lessons, but we give more carte blanche private lessons than we do anything. Someone's on the fence, they want to quit, they're having a hard time, boom. Complimentary private. Parent complains, they're not happy with the sparring session that day, boom, complimentary private lesson. Boom, my kid was overlooked, they didn't get enough attention, boom, complimentary private lesson. That complimentary private lesson helps us resolve a lot of challenges way before a student ever quits and prevents them from quitting because they recognize we own it. No matter what the reason is, you're not happy. Your kid's not happy. Here's a complimentary private. Let us do better. Let us earn that trust. Right? Same thing in a restaurant. Hey, man, taking too long to bring my meal. Boom. Let me comp you a bottle of wine. Boom. Comp you the appetizer. Boom. Worst case scenario, this meal's on us. So you got to take that sense of ownership at any point in your business, whether you're a young business, an established business, always have that sense of ownership. Good? All right. Take a deep breath. I'm working fast. Do your students test in class or in a special testing? All of the above, Michael. We do it in class. We do it once a month. We do it every quarter because we don't want to inconvenience our parents. Parents are busy. They can't all show up on a Saturday, especially in an urban environment. These kids are busy all the freaking time. Kumon Learning Center, soccer, t-ball. So we don't want to say you have to come on only this Saturday. How many kids don't make it to your belt testing? Well, with 600, if I only had 1 belt testing day, we'd be in bad shape. Bad shape. So we test in class if we're staffed for it, right? But earning and learning stripes takes precedence. We will do it in once a month. We have a belt testing. We do it every quarter in belt testing. And worst case scenario, if it's our fault, we'll offer them a complimentary private lesson and do it in a private. Or they'll buy a private. All of the above. All of the above. The goal is serve. Serve, serve, serve. All right. Then you ask, how do we explain the process and how we use it in Rainmaker? Okay. On the back end of Rainmaker, and this is one of the reasons I use Rainmaker, not just because they sponsor my webinar. Someone asked me this the other day. Is that the only reason you promote them? No, I'm going to tell you the number reason why I do promote them. Because of third-party support. I love their tech support. All these sales guys for these software companies, yeah, it can do everything. It does everything. It'll even, change your newborn baby. It does everything. That's such a crock. That's such a crock. Any type of software you have is going to give you glitches. Will have problems. Will crash. Will not work sometimes. That is life. And if you're not ready to accept that, then, I don't know what to tell you. But What you really want is that third-party support. And I found with Rainmaker, from Ron to Scott to their whole support team, they're on it within 24 hours. They have some type of answer 75, 80% of the time. Are they batting 100? Not always. Not always, because they're human beings. But is their heart in the right place? Do they work diligently? Do they own it? They do. They do. I can't tell you how many times I had a third-party software where the sales guy goes, "It's perfect." And then I go to the tech guy and he goes, "I don't know why he told you it could do that. It can't do that." Oh, really? That's not what the sales guy told me. And I've already done data conversion. I'm already fully vested, so I can't jump ship. You feel me? So you want to be mindful. And that's why I think Rainmaker is one of the best. But one of the things they do well is the striping. So on the back end, you can add ranks and rank stripes. So we add it in the back end, and we do it for each belt level, classes, et cetera, et cetera. Then on this end, when we take attendance, we do it through an iPad in Rainmaker. Here's an example. Here's 2 of our tips. He has these 2 tips, but what is he eligible for? Yellow, right? He's got 1, orange 2, green 3, blue 4, red 5, brown 6. These are all the 18 stripes in that level that I showed you on the wheel. So this kid's going to be in level 1 class for a year. Okay, you got me? So all 18 stripes are there, and as he earns those stripes, we can add them here. Is that cool? So we can do in a snapshot, take a look and know who has stripes and who doesn't. So guess what? That day the kid forgets his belt and you go, "Well, what stripes do you have on your belt?" No, pull in a Rolodex. I can look right at his name in attendance, and there it is. And that's what I think is one of the things brilliant about Rainmaker. It helps us manage 600 students and track their stripes better and faster. But you got to set it up properly in the back end, folks. And, they'll help you with that at Rainmaker. If you set it up properly in the back end, you'll be good. All right. I hope I answered that. Da-da-da! Our winner today. Let's see, Melissa Merrick. Are you there, Melissa? Are you there today, Melissa? You're the winner of our 1 Merit Badges Starter Kit. Melissa, are you on the line? If you're there, Melissa, give me a quick shout out there and questions, Melissa. Hopefully she's there somewhere. I don't want to spend too much time with this. But hey, if you guys are in Vegas and you're coming to the Super Show, do stop by my booth 110. We'll have 1 Merit Badges as well as my new preschool program. Excellent kids, super innovative, life skills building based, and something you want to take a look at. So Melissa Merrick, this one's for you, man. All right. Wow, I made it all the way. I'm into questions. I will be in Vegas. I speak on Tuesday, July 7th at 4 p.m. about designing a high-performance team. And it's not going to be just an instructor's training how to get them from A to B. It's going to be about developing culture. We're going to do exercises on communication. We're really going to define true leadership that inspires followers, not employees. It's a much higher environment. I hope you choose to share that time with me. If you are coming to attend, there's a great thing that they've set up with the Super Show where you can actually schedule your class. That way I know how many handouts to bring, how much chocolate to bring for you guys. That's important as well. So I'm ready for questions. I'm not going to scroll back, okay? Because it's hard to see all these questions. Just type them in now. Whoever types it in first, I'll answer your question. So 1 technique every 2 weeks? Not necessarily. It's not necessarily 1 technique every 2 weeks. It might be something, it's really about comprehension and learning. And if I felt it was a simple, thing and it was 10 moves and I could teach that in a 45-minute class, then the next 45-minute class, it's all sparring. Then the next week, they have a 45-minute class and we can review it and, tip them out. Fine. That's really what you have to work with, especially if a kid's on a twice-a-week program. A day, it's all curriculum. B day, it's all sparring, right? Drills and everything. Following week, A day curriculum, B day sparring. If that's the case, then you really have 2 classes to tip them in and get a stripe on that belt by the end of that second class on their A day. So yeah, roughly 2 moves, 3 moves. And it's about quality versus quantity. Think of you great fighters out there like Dan Anderson. How many techniques did you use in a ring, sir? Type it in. Realistically, how many great techniques did you use? I'm waiting, Dan. How many techniques? 2 to 3. Yeah, 2 to 3, right? 2 to 3. Oh, that's Ken. Realistically, I use about 4 to 7. Well, you're a master, sir. You're a master. Most of us are not a master like you are, sir. But most of us, humble fighters, will use 2 to 3. And that's really it. Focus on quality, not quantity. The challenge for instruction is how to disguise the repetition, right? That's why we use Roland's 5-step method, and I've built upon that from Millennium Training. This 5-step method, boom, you introduce the technique, boom, you demo the technique, boom, you do it 3 times with the kids, then you watch them do it 3 times, then you say black belt training, they do it, you walk around and correct everybody, boom, then you do ninja training, they're doing it in 360 degrees, boom, then you go into line drills, partner drills, team drills, pad drills. It's just about disguising repetition. I can teach a cross punch for 45 minutes, and I promise nobody would be bored. One cross punch. And that's really what it takes to be a master instructor, is to disguise that repetition. So it's not quantity, it's quality. So be ever mindful of that, okay? All right. Is your schedule flexible or specific days of training? You want to schedule in. I tell parents all the time, choose Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. That's pretty standard. We do a once a week program. So our Fridays and Saturdays are filled up with our once a week program kids, but we do offer the makeup policy. We tell parents, kids love structure. You want to plan it out for yourself. It's really important, and parents love that, but they do have regular days. I do highly recommend that. I do. What do you do? What time do you do your makeup stripe class? We do it on a Saturday afternoon, 3 to 5, the third or fourth Saturday of the month. Because we're busy with classes on Saturday. I mean, we're packed from 8 a.m. to about 1 p.m. I give the team a break. Then we have a bunch of private lessons, right? They take their lunch. Then we'll normally do the stripe workshop the last Saturday of the month, or the third Saturday, because the last Saturday of the month is general belt testing. And we take care of it that way. How do you handle servicing students with disabilities through your curriculum? That's been a big one. And someone gave me a whole thing because it was very controversial for them. They feel they're compromising their value system and their integrity, by awarding to a black belt to somebody in a wheelchair. And I'm going to be blunt about that, because that was the basic issue. And, I also grew up with the mindset that the black belt, the belt just holds up my pants. What are we talking about? Technique? Are we talking about spirit? Are we talking about integrity? What are we talking about? The fact that somebody in a wheelchair will have a big enough heart to walk into my school and want to do martial arts, you're a black belt. You've overcome so many obstacles. The confidence to walk into my school, you're more of a black belt than I am. And I'm an 8th degree black belt. So what are we talking about here? It's really, you should accommodate them. I would develop a class for them if that's really the issue. Hey, you could, service a market that maybe nobody else does. How about just a wheelchair class? Right? Think about it. You see basketball players have a wheelchair basketball league. How about that? Would that be cool? Think about it. And you restructure your curriculum where it's all hand techniques. Maybe they're able to use their wheelchair and hit them with their foot pedals. Or maybe they're allowed, they can wheel back into them and then follow with a back fist. I don't know. But you feel me? Maybe you can create something, John, that's never been done. But you would service them. I would service them the way anybody else. Otherwise, you also, legally, that's discrimination, right? That's discrimination. If you say, I can't service you because you're handicapped or you have a disability, that's technically discrimination. But with all humility, if it is beyond your scope and you have a kid with autism the parent wants in your class and there's no way they can function in that class, let them know that. Man, this is beyond my scope. It was my good intention to serve you well, but I can't do it. And that's honest too, right? $189 for twice a week. How much for more classes? We don't have anything more than twice a week. Other than if you take our fitness kickboxing, you can come unlimited. Can I tell you why? Because they need to practice. I grew up training 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, tournaments every other weekend. Most people aren't built for that. They just aren't. And if you got somebody in your school 4, 5, 6 days a week, they're going to burn out. They're going to burn out and you're going to lose them a year or 2 years in. It's better. Slow and steady wins the race. The drip system. You want to flood, brand new plants with water, or do you put an irrigation drip system? You see, you do a drip system. That drip system is 2 days a week. Okay, I teach on about 1,500 square feet and have a ratio of 1 instructor to 5 to 7 students. What would be your maximum numbers of students in the floor space be? Again, it's creating the experience. It's creating the experience. If I have 1,500 square feet and I'm jamming 50, 60 students in there, bad quality. I don't care if I have 100 instructors on the floor. People are bumping into each other. It's funky. If you have 1,500 square feet, you got 40, 50 kids on the floor. How many parents are sitting in the wear area? It's crammed. It's jammed. It's not a good experience. They will leave. They will leave you. So be mindful of that. I think what you should look at more, Chris, is creative scheduling. Do more classes. We do about 50, 60 classes a week in our San Francisco location. Somebody said that to me in the new location, one of my team members. They go, you're offering beginning classes 6 days a week, and there's one kid in one class, two in the other, three in the other. Why not just lump them all in on Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30? I'll tell you why. Because Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 may not fit certain people's schedules. So with my beginning program, we offer it 6 days a week to accommodate people. San Francisco, we do 7 days a week. Make sense? And I believe if you can do that, Chris, in 1,500 square feet, then I was running 450 students in 2,200 square feet, so you can do it. I don't think you're maxed out yet, but if you believe you are, and space is cheap where you're at, then move to a bigger school, right? But always 7-to-1 ratio, no more than 7-to-1. Because one of the obstacles you're going to face with parents, how many kids in a class? Standard, right? With a prospect, with a potential parent. And if you can answer with, it depends, 10 to 30 kids in a class. But what we do work with is a low student to teacher ratio, 6-to-1, 7-to-1. I think you'll appease that question and go right by it. So if a student did not show up for class last week and it's tip testing week, do you still give them a stripe? Absolutely not. It has to be based upon proficiency. If they can't demonstrate that technique, then why would you award them a stripe? That's why I'm not into these time-based curriculums. Come to 32 classes and you get your belt. Yuck! You need to be proficient at what you do. How many kids, do that? How many schools do that? Be honest with yourself. Type it in there. I think for my value system, that's not it. That's why I see brown belts, black belts. I can't even throw a front kick. Well, I did my time. I came, to all my numbered of classes I was supposed to. Yeah, but you still can't kick. You still can't kick, and you shouldn't be wearing a black belt. There's got to be a balance there, don't you think? Right? What do you think? Type it in. Talk to me on that. So I feel strongly about that. So what we do, though, is if that kid's there for that second week, and guess what? They're not ready for stripe testing, boom, junior instructor. Take them. Give them a semi-private over there in the corner. Boom, mom, we want to offer them a comp private. Boom, mom, come to the stripe testing makeup stripe workshop. Boom, mom, come 15 minutes before class. That will mobilize on, but we will not compromise our value system and award this kid the stripe anyways, just to push him through the pipe. That's the problem with our educational system here in the United States. Push them through the pipe. Let them graduate with a D. A D? A D? You're going to let them graduate with a D. That's like what, freaking 1.0? That's horrible, but push them through the pipe, right? You don't want to do that in your school. There's no value in that. People will not respect you. They won't look up to you for what you do. Your thoughts on providing rate? Absolutely. Put your rates at the website. Absolutely. We're doing a new website right now, and they'll be there. We give them over the phone. We give them when they walk through the door. It's not handwritten. It's on a piece of paper. And I believe my guy might have posted them already at our website. Absolutely. Be transparent. You know why? If you can't afford me to begin with, then why even venture into that? Right? Would you walk into a Rolls Royce, or Tesla showroom if you can't afford that car? And you're shopping for a car? It's a waste of time for you. It's a waste of time for the salesman. You know that. You go in there if you can afford it. Period. So I believe you should post your price. Be transparent. I challenge every one of you to do that right now. Right now. I do all belt systems now. How can I change to rotating curriculum? Well, first of all, you got to lump them into 3 groups, right? If you're doing all belts in one class, is that what you're telling me? You're doing all your belts in one class? What, they can just simply come to the class at any time? Can you explain that a little further? All belt systems now. So what does that mean? Give me a clear picture. Are you putting white belts with 1-year students, hypothetically a purple belt? Are you putting that 1-year student purple belt with a brown belt? What does that mean? Can you define that a little clearer? Okay, and while I wait for that, I'm going to add my 2 cents to that. Would you put a 1st grader with a 7th grader? No. Don't do that. It's a bad experience. The 1st grader is overwhelming. The 7th grader is bored. Just like I would never put a 8-year-old with a 4-year-old in camp. It's not a good experience. So I would never do that. Does your student need 4 classes in before they earn a stripe? Nope. I've had a kid walk into my school, do the stripe better than people who've practiced in class just studying our videos. No way. It's all performance-based. Kevin, it needs to be performance-based, just like our team. We don't do a tenured-based curriculum. And it doesn't matter if you've been with me 10 years. It's what you've done today and tomorrow that determines your raises, determines if you advance in our company. Everything should be performance-based. Do a student have a curriculum in the way of a handbook or hard copy? Nope. We have it written out, and most people can't read it. It's hieroglyphics. It serves no purpose. Visual learning is the key. Everything is on video, and if they want it written, we do have it on hand in hard copy. But we don't make a special book for it. We give you only the curriculum for that stripe that you need, the curriculum only for the belt level that you need. Only for the belt level that you need. It doesn't make any sense giving you a book where you're a white belt looking at black belt. No, but it plants seeds for black belts. We're doing that each and every day in everything we teach. So it doesn't need to be in a book, thick as a dictionary. I don't believe that. It's overwhelming. It's way too much stuff to give to a new student. What do you do when parents fall behind on a payment and they start to avoid you? Are they still attending classes? Then we need to have a conversation. And then at some point, if the kids are still coming to class and the parents are avoiding me and they're not paying and it's gone on past a month, then we simply, let them know via email that unfortunately, we don't want Johnny to miss your class, but if you don't connect with us and I understand you're busy. We're so apologetic, owning it. I understand you're super busy, but Johnny's been coming to class for the past month and you haven't renewed. Could you please get a hold of us? Otherwise, ma'am, we're going to have to ask Johnny not to come to class. Not that he can't come, we banned him. Your choice of words are really important. And when you write things emotionally because you're upset, you're always going to make a bad choice. Give it a day, take a breath, go back. A lot of times it's just an oversight. But if the parents just stop coming and they owe you money, then just write it off. Don't send it to collections, just write it off because they're not going to pay you unless you take them to collections, right? Right? They're not going to pay you at that point. Cool? All right. All belts, same class, like white to black belt, same age in one class. Absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you, don't do that. I'm a black belt. I want to train with a white belt. It's not going to happen. Unless you warm up together, you do the stretch, you do the meditation, and you got so many instructors on hand. One instructor takes the black belt. One instructor takes the white belt. One instructor takes the first year students. One instructor takes the second year students, and they're working on different curriculum. That would be fine. We do that sometimes too. We absolutely do. But it's just not a good experience. I've spent all this year as a black belt, and you're going to sit there and make me, take a class with a white belt. It's just not. I would like to know your numbers and how long you've been in business, the way you're doing it. Does it work, sir? I mean, I won't mention names. Tell me, how long have you been in business, sir, and how many active students do you have? Okay? And that's the proof in the pudding. If you don't, then it doesn't work. Do you recommend a 5:30 to 6 p.m. 5 to 6-year-old class? I have seen others do it. We do it on Friday just to accommodate that working parent, and they normally come once a week. Absolutely. Would it be the main AB day or on Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday? Probably not. Just depends. You got to understand there's working parents who aren't off work till 4:30 and they can't get you till later. I say offer classes as much as you can. My excellent kid preschool, I have at 3:30. I have one at 5 o'clock. I have one at 5:30 on a Friday night. You've got to be flexible with your scheduling as much as possible. Who do you use to build and maintain website? Is there a particular company? I'm going to tell you about this because here's my nightmare. I used to be with one of the guys that charged me month to month. I didn't like it. It wasn't a good cultural fit. I didn't like not being able to edit my site. I didn't like using fake pictures, fake testimonials. Then I went to a local designer who I had too much faith in. It didn't work. All right. Now I'm getting a site designed and it's challenging. It's very challenging. But will it be worth it in the end? Absolutely. I'm going to have an amazing website. But for you guys that are just starting out that don't have that kind of money, if you can afford the $199 a month or the $297 a month, I might recommend you do that. Just make sure again it's a transparent website. It doesn't have a bunch of fake pictures, fake testimonials, and get rid of that freaking gold seal of 100% guarantee. This isn't late night TV. This isn't an infomercial. Don't do that. It's yucky. It's yucky and it cheapens your product. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Oh my God. When I see that, it's not for me. It's not for me. So I do recommend that you build your own website. I do recommend you pay good money for a good website build, to get done right, 4 to 8 grand. And budget for it, because the phone numbers don't work anymore. We know phone books don't work. Your website is your calling card. It's everything. So to have the website that reflects your values, your culture, everything, that's important. How can somebody take a template-driven website and capture your values, your integrity, your vision? They cannot. They simply cannot. Let alone you're not able to edit it. That's even worse for me. I got to be able to edit it. If I can't edit it, go in there, boom, 12 midnight, cancel tomorrow, snowstorm. If I can't do all those things without even putting in an email to you, it doesn't work for me. But that's me. I actually have just, we created a job position. We have a full-time guy now because we have 2 locations. He does all our Facebook. He sets up our ad design for the profit generators. We're doing all those things. It's just what's necessary in today's age of technology, I believe. Within a 1-year level of training, do students review material from their earlier months? Yes, absolutely. But see, we do that every quarter too, though. Every 3 months, we're in a review month. We don't do a review week. We do a review month. Because remember, every quarter, somebody's leaving that level, and they're going to have to do their curriculum from the day one as a white belt to their current belt level. So we do 1-month review. So they're always reviewing every quarter, not just yearly, because they would forget everything by then. How long are your classes? Our preschoolers are 40 minutes, our kids are 45 minutes, our adults are 1 hour. Can someone on a once-a-week program test? Absolutely. We've set up a curriculum in a nutshell. A-B day, A-day curriculum, B-day sparring. Okay? Second week, A-day curriculum, B-day sparring. You stripe test your test out. Once a week student. Week number 1, all curriculum to class. Week number 2, curriculum for half of the class, sparring for half of the class. You feel me? You feel me? So that way they're getting some sparring, but we're still spending enough time on curriculum where they're able to do that. And it's working. It's working. I mean, we have a graduation rate of about 85–90% now because of that. But for a while, I was teaching 2 curriculums with that once-a-week program. Oh, my God, it was a nightmare. But we remedied that through paying attention. Good. Everybody, let me see. Did I cover everyone's questions before I let you go? Any last-minute questions? Any burning desires? Give them to me. And if you have anything, after this, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at professor at onemartialarts.com. You can find me at Facebook, folks. All of that's there. Oh, look at this. One more question. Look at that. I missed this. How did I miss this one? Would love to hear more about what you do in summer camp, ways to bring in new students and increase value. Early online registration and sibling discounts. Have an ability to register and pay online. Early drop-off. We do a 7:30 drop-off. Late pickup at 6 o'clock. No extra charge. Most camps are 9 to 3. Then they're going to charge you $20 an hour for aftercare. Facebook ads, EDDM mailers, booths, school auctions, Barrier Parent Magazine. Any way that you can get your word out there, you need to do that. Label it a fun camp and not a martial arts camp. This is a big one. Stop labeling it a martial arts camp, because that scares people away. They need to know it's a variety of activities, Legos, iPad lab, part-time, all those different things. Offer an age-appropriate, diverse curriculum. Again, don't put that 9-year-old with the 4-year-old. Even if you got 6 kids in your camp, don't put that 9-year-old with the 4-year-old. Split them up, mix it up, do different things. Intensive team training. We train our team before for 3 8-hour sessions. We do it during camp as necessary. It's important. Train them, and train them some more. Window clings, online videos and handouts, and internal events. Every way possible. Our camps are huge for us, and they're huge for us because of that. Now, somebody said to me, I don't do camps. They're way in the Netherlands or something. Then you need to have a great summer special. We're doing one right now. $249 for 3 months. It's selling out the door. The only restriction, if you go on vacation for 2 weeks, we don't put it on hold. We're doing 4 weeks for $99 for kickboxing, selling like hotcakes. So all those things add up. All those things make a difference. I want to thank Rainmaker. I think they're cool people more than anything. Like I say it all the time, anybody can teach you to kick and punch, but what people invest in is in relationships. I love my relationship with Scott and Ron. I love the people at Rainmaker because they'll make good on anything that's not right. And we should all be doing the same in our industry. You want to find me? Professor at onemartialarts.com, BrannonBeliso.com. Great information there. I keep blogs. You are welcome, carte blanche, to take any of that information, use it in your newsletters, use it in your blogs. All I ask is please give me credit. Not asking for any monetary, just please give me credit. OneMeritBadges.com. Go to our website, OneMartialArts.com. See our programs, what we're about. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all of the above, folks. This is Brannon Beliso. I want to thank you guys. Everybody's still on the call for the majority. And I think that's just, it just makes me want to keep doing what I do and do it some more. I just really, really do. Oh, good. You're reading Tribes. Yeah, Tribes is great, Chris. I'm digging it. It's a lot of stuff I already do, which resonates with me really well. And it's just at a heart level. It's good to know I have so much to learn. I have so much to learn. So people, I just want to thank you. I do this each month, and it is a labor of love. And I see people growing Dan, your school's growing. Kevin Waldsmith, his school's growing. I know Linda's school is growing because of some of the things I've shared. I've got a guy, Dale, out in the UK who's doubled his membership since taking on some of my culture and thinking, and I'm just grateful to do that. I believe in paying it forward. I believe in giving it back, and I hope through my small effort that in some way I'm instilling that Buddha spirit with you guys. But more than that, know that there's another way. I know at a heart level for many of you, the contract thing has never sat well. The upgrades, the black belt clubs, the hard sells, the built-in retails. I know it doesn't resonate with a lot of you at a heart level. So know that there's another way. And now with our second school, we're proving it's replicable. Isn't that cool? People were writing me off as an anomaly. It's one school. You can't do it again and again. My second school is proving that. A service-based business is replicable. I have the systems to prove it. I have the numbers to prove it. And at a heart level, we're proving it each and every day. So I want to thank you guys so much, ladies. Thank you so much for allowing me to do what I do. I love each and every one of you just because you're martial artists, but more than that, because you're people who care. You're people who are trying to make a difference. You're people who are affecting change, and you're people who are trying to do it with integrity, do it responsibly, and putting relationships ahead of profits. So catch me at the Super Show, right? Come by my booth, say hi. And hey, you know what I'm offering at the Super Show? Nobody knows yet. I'm going to do free 30-minute consultations for anybody in my booth. If you want it, only time I'm busy is when I'm speaking on Tuesday from roughly 3 o'clock to 5, so I have that open window. On Tuesday, July 7th, we'll be booked from 3 to 5. Other than that, hit me up at Facebook. Hit me up at my email. I'm going to give anybody who first come, first serve a 30-minute private consultation on your business. This is Brannon Beliso. Till we talk again, you go out there and make a difference.